Hello, everybody, and welcome to my in-depth, as promised. Forgot to hit the start on my stopwatch. It's not working. There we go. Welcome to my in-depth, I guess, gear and skill guide for whirlwind barbarians. As you can see here, this is my build. Hope you get a good look at it because I'm trying to cut this down below 15 minutes, but it'll probably be a two-part thing. So I'm timing this though, because the last two I didn't time. So I'm wasting time here. It's a pretty standard build. I guess the only things to point out are Thrive on Chaos, really. The rest is pretty standard bash for generating Fury, and but yeah, Thrive on Chaos for Infinite Zerk. I can usually keep it up, at least guaranteed one champ, but usually I keep it up till at least it's back up again or almost back up again. A lot of times I keep going for like 3, 4, or 5 champs. I've gone through all 3 keep depths and like the fields or whatever they're called with one wrath, and it's beautiful. It's hard to keep up during bosses, but that's for another time. If you're less geared, you can change your whirlwind to this, to where your bash is. I'm not gonna move it right now, and just take off bash and remove that with overpower with whatever it's called. It would be overpower with crushing advance. That's if you're really under geared, but you're still kind of interested in farming. You don't have enough defense. Okay, and now onto the stats though. Stats. Hold on, let me buff you. Yeah, I have my enchantress out. These are all my buff stats with Warcry and Battle Rage. As you can see, my cold resist is 1100. That's just from random gear. I don't really prefer a resist at all. Just get what you can. I don't spend that much on my gear. I had about 120 mil. By the way, before I say that, this is on my brother's character. I gave him all my gear because he was interested in farming, and I have not been playing this as much as I really could or have been. And so basically, he wants to farm, and it's much better than farming in this gear where you actually kill things and live pretty damn easily than the gear that I gave him before, which was really bad. So that's that. Let's get that out of the way. Resist 900. These resist is a good number to shoot for. You can of course go higher up to like 1,000, and the more defense you have with this spec, the better. I think you can sacrifice. You do want some sort of damage, of course, but I think a damage area around mine is a really good place. Like damage and defense around mine is a really good place to start. My whirlwinds tick, crit/tick or whatever for about 10 to 12k, I believe. That's what they usually do. Not my whirlwinds, but my run like the wind tornadoes things. Those crit for about 10 to 12k. I don't know about my whirlwind really. I'm guessing it's kind of the same, but then again it alternates. If you look at my attack speed right here, 1.53, 1.41. 1.53, 1.41 with a little bit of lag. Basically, that's because it alternates. Same with Whirlwind. Bash and Whirlwind are your moves that will alternate between your attacks. If you see, my offhand has a 1.2 speed, and basically this is just a stat stick. You do want it to be higher because the faster your attack speed and all that, the more life on hit you proc, and I only have 1,000 life on hit, but I would love to get like 1,500 because just little amounts of defense and like all that helps tremendously. When I think I started with like 600, 650 or something, all resist with Warcry, and when I upgraded like basically my 2 rings and like one other piece of gear, both my rings have about 60 all resist, so 120-ish together. I noticed a huge increase in survivability. So there's that. As far as life and hit goes, yeah, you can get. You basically want about 700, I'd say, for an offhand, but also either look for lots of strength or lots of crit hit damage. I got this offhand for 8 mil, like right when the spec came out, or soon after the spec came out. So prices were really inflated. They've calmed down now. I believe. I'm pretty sure. I haven't been checking the auction house too much, but this was pretty good for me. If you can get like a sword or a dagger, that's really good. Just look for high strength or like 50-ish plus crit damage. Mine has 87% with some strength, so that's pretty nice. The damage doesn't exactly matter. It does help if you can get like 6, 7, 800, whatever. It always helps more damage with your whirlwind and bash, but it's not necessary really. It's just a stat 6 because your main damage is your tornadoes from Run Like the Wind. So that's my offhand weapon. Main hand weapon is really outdated. I got this for 5 mil quite a while ago, and I saw one better for like quite a bit better with the same strength, crit hit damage for like 11 mil. So mine's really outdated. Basically, you either want crit hit damage or high strength. A lot of strength, like my 195 strength, that replaces the crit hit damage, since crit hit damage is really overpriced right now and probably will be for a long time. So I just got this because it was cheap, and you basically want, if you look at the number like 468 through 824 damage, you want to push that as high as you can. You can go with a mace or a mighty weapon, mace, mighty weapon, or axe. I don't really have a preference. Mighty weapons are good for anyone wondering. Mace and axes are both 10% crit, whereas mighty weapons are 3 Fury on hit, so I think they're both pretty good. I haven't really noticed a difference as far as Fury. I think the mighty weapon might be a bit more. Basically, you just want this to be as like the main hand to be as high damage as you can with having some stats, strength or crit hit damage. And of course, with both weapons, you do want to socket. I do actually have a 90% gem for this, but for this offhand, but it's on my it's on my character, not my brother's character. I just switched it around for a minute trying a mighty weapon. Gonna have to cut this off soon for part 1, but yeah, let's go to rings, I guess. Rings, I do recommend. I was using non-all resist rings before. My rings are pretty damn expensive, at least when I bought them. This was the better ring. I bought this for like 16 mil. I don't know if I got a steal or good deal or whatever. I'm not too sure. I just kind of bought it because it was up, and I was getting frustrated with not having enough survivability, which is important. But I was still able to do Act 3 pretty decently. Now I do it fine. My Act 3 clears are about an hour to an hour and a half, maybe, with like 5-ish deaths, 5 to like 9 deaths, 5 to 10 deaths or whatever. Usually it's just to a really bad champs, and I don't die to bosses ever. But yeah, so that's about my time / death ratio and all that. But for rings, really look for what you want, what you need really. Both my rings, like I needed at the time all resist, so I bought 2 higher all resist rings. They go to 70 all resist, and I also needed Vit. I have 42,000 HP right now. Like I have Vit gems in my pants. I could replace those. I'm gonna cut it off right after this sentence. For life though, around 40k is where you want to be. 40k is a really good number. Higher doesn't really matter. 35k is doable, but you don't really want to go that far down. Aim for 38, 39, 40k, 40k again, golden number. So here's 8 minutes. So I'll see you in part 2.